A live look right now from the Fox 45 Chevy Storm Tracker. We're following rain across Maryland, and it can get heavy at times. The latest on the storm's path across the state. A divide over how to move forward with crime bills in Annapolis. The fight between Democrats and Republicans on how to address statewide violence. And were there warning signs? We talk with the former Maryland 529 employee who says he left after warning the agency their plans would lead to disaster.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News at 6.
Good evening, I'm Kai Jackson. The Fox 45 News at 6 starts right now with the exclusive Fox Track, your Baltimore Minute.
Councilman Christopher Burnett proposed raising fines from $500 to $1,000 per occurrence for business owners who violate the juvenile curfew. The law prohibits juveniles from patronizing stores during school hours. Cohen says one of the keys to reducing crime in Baltimore is not so much fining businesses, but also keeping kids in the classroom.
We have a lot of work to do to get city schools to where it needs to be. They have an onus and a responsibility to be there for our kids.
Baltimore City State's Attorney Ivan Bates discussing the latest pushback on his bill that would raise the maximum penalty for first-time illegal gun offenders from 3 years to 5 years. Current law sets that standard for someone between the ages of 18 to 20 years old, but not for someone who is 21 or older.
Why is anyone pushing back to make something uniform? I don't understand. But, there are a number of individuals, the academic, the scholars, so to speak, they're the ones who say it's mass incarceration. I think they're very confused about what mass incarceration is.
We are tracking that storm system moving across Maryland. It's bringing rain and wintry weather in western Maryland. In fact, you're looking at live conditions outside. If you have plans, they could change as rain gets heavier. Meteorologist Jasmine Lomax leads us off with a first check of our weather. Jasmine?
Thanks, Kai. We're continuing to track that rain move across the state on the radar right now. Most of it is on the lighter side, but this is going to change over the next few hours as a cold front gets closer to our state. That's our larger weather maker that is leading to that rain. So we're tracking this system that's currently moving to the east. That cold front will pass over our region as we head into the night. We expect heavy rain and possibly some inundation in low-lying areas. Make sure that you're driving safely. Once that cold front passes, we are back to nice and dry weather for the weekend. But tomorrow, expect windy conditions. Coming up, I'll have a look at the timing of the rain and how windy it'll be tomorrow in my Weather Authority forecast. Back to you.
Jasmine, thank you. Take a look at this. Some snow fell in Carroll County. Our Megan Gillen captured it coming down in what's been a rare sight so far this winter. Hey, you can help Fox 45 News tell weather stories in your neighborhood as well. Take a picture or video of the current conditions. You can send them online at foxbaltimore.com/chime in. We could show them on air or even on our website. Breaking tonight, President Biden has a cancerous lesion removed during his annual physical last month. The lesion on his chest was determined to be basal cell carcinoma, a common form of skin cancer. In fact, his wife, Dr. Jill Biden, had a procedure to remove the same type of cancer in January. In the president's case, doctors say no further treatment is needed, and President Biden's chest has healed nicely. A man is shot inside a North Baltimore business this morning. Police say around 7:30, the man was inside a business near Greenmount and East 30th Street when a gunman entered and shot him. The victim was taken to the hospital. Anyone with information should contact Baltimore police. A Baltimore man is convicted of having a gun in a school zone. U.S. Attorney's Office for Maryland says Malcolm Goods was riding a bike near Sandtown Winchester Academy when police pulled him over in September of 2021. Police received a call about a man with a weapon. Police say he had a gun with scratched out serial numbers. He was arrested. Goods was sentenced to 2 years in prison. Governor Wes Moore, Democrats and Republicans in Annapolis are all saying they are prioritizing public safety, but there is a divide in the session so far on exactly how to get there. Fox 45's Mackenzie Frost asked experts why it seems plans to address a top priority for voters may be stalling in the House.
Creating safe communities is the tagline politicians in Annapolis have said all General Assembly session. But making that plan a reality doesn't seem to be simple.
There is not one piece of legislation that will change the state of creating real safety. It is a comprehensive approach that's necessary.
Senate President Bill Ferguson, a Democrat from Baltimore City, says curbing the violent crime gripping his community and others across the state takes a comprehensive approach.
We do have to hold people accountable, but we also have to prevent it.
Democrats backing plans to restrict where guns can be brought in public, safe storage plans, registries for gun owners, and more mental health funding, as well as boosting services for juvenile criminals.
We don't intervene now, we're going to have a serious problem.
But Democrats not moving on a plan to repeal a law shielding 13-year-olds and younger from facing criminal charges, while Republicans push a much tougher on crime agenda.
It can't wait.
Including the Violent Firearms Offender Act for the third time.
Right now, criminals in some jurisdictions are not fearing any consequences.
Good morning, everyone.
Friday, Fox 45 News pressing Ferguson on if his chamber will get on board with that GOP plan too.
So is there appetite for that bill?
I think it's in consideration, something that I support. I think we're having conversations across both chambers about what might be feasible. There's a lot more work that has to go to make sure that we have real safe communities.
Not a clear yes or no.
Over half of the people currently incarcerated are there for committing violent crimes.
Zach Smith, a former federal prosecutor and criminal justice policy expert at the Heritage Foundation, says the Violent Firearms Offender Act could see real results in communities if it gets passed. And when it comes to this spike in more young people committing crimes,
many on the left have bought into this idea that juveniles should never be incarcerated.
Smith says he agrees with Democrats that early intervention is key, but says that does not mean jail time should be off the table.
If these individuals are incarcerated, are taken off the street for a period of time, they're not going to be back in their communities.
While Republicans are outnumbered some 2-1, political analyst John Deedy says the GOP's plans provide a chance for Democrats to create real change in their communities plagued by the violence.
As a Democrat, at some point you have to show you're a little tough on crime.
With less than half the session left,
the clock is ticking.
Deedy says Governor Wes Moore needs to take a stronger lead.
I think the governor needs to get off the stick and start being more vocal about what he wants.
So far, that hasn't exactly happened. While the debate continues in committee rooms, families continue to rush to emergency rooms after loved ones become gun violence statistics across Maryland.
Mackenzie Frost, Fox 45 News.
Well, you can make your voice heard as well. Scan that QR code you see here on your screen to contact your local state delegates and senators. That will take you to our website, foxbaltimore.com, where we've compiled a list of email and phone numbers as well. Again, you can make your voice heard by going to foxbaltimore.com. As juvenile crime rises in Baltimore, a city council member is calling on businesses to play a role in crime reduction. Councilman Christopher Burnett is proposing doubling fines from $500 to $1,000 for each first-time offenders or each time offenders violate the juvenile daytime curfew. Now, the law prohibits juveniles from shopping at stores during school hours currently, and business owners tonight tell Fox 45 News it's not their job to be police. That's a sentiment echoed by Councilmember Zeke Cohen.
We are not the one who have to take care of people outside of our stores.
I know as a parent and as a former teacher that we have to set limits and we have to have boundaries.
Well, while Councilmember Cohen says he is not in favor of fining businesses, he is hoping to bring back truancy officers who track absent students by going out and knocking on doors. An investigation is underway right now in Howard County after a suspicious death. Authorities responded to a home invasion in Elkridge around 10:30 this morning. This happened near the Maryland International School. Police say they found a man dead with signs of trauma, and a small fire was there as well. One person at the home was taken into custody. Baltimore police are investigating a camera found inside of a library bathroom last week. Last Friday, a patron at the Enoch Pratt Free Library Hamilton branch in Northeast saw the camera hanging from the bathroom ceiling. The bathroom was a single-person, gender-neutral restroom in the library's basement. If anyone has any information, you're asked to call Baltimore police. After months of controversy, a former employee of the state's embattled College Trust is coming forward to tell his side of the story. Rebecca Pryor spoke with the whistleblower this morning.
Yeah, for almost a year now, parents have been demanding answers and they have been demanding their money. But just yesterday, Maryland 529 releasing a statement saying that there is still no clear timeline for when these families' frozen funds will be released. This former employee says that right there, that was his breaking point. Spencer Fells says he was the former customer service manager for 16 years. He describes himself as one of the agency's longest standing employees and the unofficial historian of Maryland 529. As we've been reporting for months now, the problems at the agency date back to that calculation error that occurred when they made drastic changes to how prepaid accounts would accrue interest. That change was made in November of 2021, adding a 6% interest earnings to all accounts. While many parents, they welcomed that change, Fells says he warned the agency this would not go over well. He didn't think the calculations made any sense, and he feared how the company would properly implement them. At the time, the trust was moving to new out-of-state management, a company in Florida called Intuition College Savings Solutions, LLC. That move would effectively dissolve Fells' position, but he says he left before the shift in management when his warnings went ignored. Ultimately, Fells says he's not sure what exactly went wrong with the calculation error, but he claims he knows it shouldn't take this long to fix.
I'm not really sure where the disconnect is, but I do know that 11 months is 10 months past being an acceptable turnaround time to fix the situation. I'm not sure if it's a shortage of money or an issue that's way more serious than they're alluding to, but you know, the facts that I'm looking at don't make sense.
Now, I reached out to Maryland 529 asking if they have any response to these allegations, but they're not being entirely honest with account holders. They didn't have any comment to that specific allegation, but they did send me a statement. It reads in part, quote, the agency's focus is on completing the manual reviews for accounts for those account holders who have requested them and on finalizing the reprogramming for the automated record-keeping system. I encourage account holders who have questions to complete a request for account support through the Maryland 529 website. Again, that has been a process that's been ongoing for, again, almost a year now, and we still have no clear solutions in sight. Coming up tonight at 10, I'll dive deeper into these allegations and have more from this whistleblower. But for now, reporting in Baltimore City, Rebecca Pryor, Fox 45 News.
Funding for educational opportunities has become a political fight in Annapolis this session. Today, it appears a member of the governor's party may push back on plans to phase out the Boost program. Boost gives scholarships to low-income families, allowing them to send their kids to non-public schools. Some of the 3,000 kids receiving Boost scholarships rallied yesterday in Annapolis to keep the program. Day Senate President Bill Ferguson, a Democrat, says that he sees the benefits of the program despite the governor's request to make cuts.
Funding education and investing in young people wherever they are is a value for the Senate of Maryland and I think for the state overall. We believe that all young people deserve the opportunity to maximize their potential. And so this program, and this is a program that I personally have evolved on as I've seen families and young people really have incredible benefits. And in comparison to the $7.5 billion of state dollars, $8.5 billion if you include federal dollars, $8.5 billion to $10 million, it's a small differential.
When Fox 45 asked the Senate president if he would act to codify Boost, he said that's up to the Senate overall and the Budget Committee. Sentencing in the Alec Murdaugh trial. He's sentenced to life behind bars, but you have to hear the haunting message the judge delivered to Murdaugh before sending him to prison. And the Democrats' majority in the U.S. Senate now even tighter, the impact of multiple illnesses impacting the president's plans in Congress. Former South Carolina attorney Alec Murdaugh will spend the rest of his life in prison. The former attorney has been sentenced to life in prison for killing his wife and son. His defense team maintained his innocence even after the jury returned a guilty verdict last night. The judge handed down the sentence, saying even if Murdaugh keeps denying he's guilty publicly, he'll be haunted by his crimes.
I know you have to see Paul and Maggie during the night times when you're attempting to go to sleep. I'm sure they come and visit you. I'm sure.
Well, daily episodes of our sister station's award-winning podcast, The Murdaugh Murders, Money and Mystery, highlights the major developments in court leading up to the verdict. You can scan the QR code on your screen or search Murdaugh anywhere you get your podcasts. Senator Dianne Feinstein, the longest-serving woman in Senate history, is in the hospital being treated for shingles. The 89-year-old Democrat from California says she was diagnosed over the February recess. She expects to make a full recovery and be back in the Senate later this month after missing all votes this week. While Democrats have a functional majority in the Senate, they're down one vote, with Senator John Fetterman also hospitalized for depression. Vice President Kamala Harris has broken several ties this week to confirm judicial nominations.
Right now, you're taking a look over the harbor and over Towson. It is rainy in both areas as we deal with our next weather maker. You can see that rain on the HC radar. Expect more overnight as a cold front moves toward our area. Here's a look outside, and it is overcast. 40 for the current temperature, but it feels like it's in the low 30s, below freezing. It's also a little breezy, so if you have to go anywhere, you want the rain gear and the layers. This is all part of a larger system. We're tracking this cold front that will continue to drive toward the East Coast. That will lead to more areas of rain tonight, possibly heavy rain, and a few thunderstorms. Right now, we're currently seeing just a few showers, still a little bit of light rain for much of us, but that's going to change as we get closer to about 9-10 o'clock. Notice by then we're seeing areas of heavy rain, and this will continue through about midnight. After that, we're back to dry weather, and we'll stay nice and dry for the rest of the weekend. We'll wake up to temperatures in the 40s tomorrow before reaching the 50s by the afternoon. We'll stay dry as we head into Sunday, and then we'll welcome in higher temperatures. We'll nearly approach 60 degrees. 42 for the low temperature with rain mainly through midnight. Wind gusts could exceed 35 miles per hour, but we do expect our winds to pick up tomorrow. A wind advisory is in place. 55 for the high temperature. We'll start the morning with a few clouds. Then by the afternoon, we'll have plenty of sunshine. Sustained winds will be around 20 to 25 miles per hour. And we do have, again, that wind advisory in place for most of the state. If you have any loose belongings or outdoor furniture, it's a good idea to move those inside before the winds pick up tomorrow. But as we head into Sunday, we're in for a nice and pleasant day and the best day of the weekend. Coming up, I'll have a look at what you can expect for next week and the exclusive 10-day forecast.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Severe weather is moving across the South and Midwest tonight. This was the scene as a line of storms moved through northern Alabama this afternoon. Just how much pollen is in South Carolina right now? Enough to create a massive plume as this pine tree is taken down in Ocean Isle Beach. And recent rainfall means North Carolina's Rainbow Falls is fully flowing over its 150-foot drop.
Coming up, as a local school system announces free lunches for kids across the country, other local governments are running into roadblocks. Why it's so difficult to feed students. Baltimore County is planning to provide free lunches to school for every student. It's a policy many school systems are adopting, especially with rising grocery costs. But now across the county, in country, and in Washington, lawmakers are backing off plans to do the same. Holly Menino from our Sinclair sister station in Seattle is looking into the issues some areas are facing feeding their students.
State Superintendent Chris Rakedahl wants free meals next year for all public school students, regardless of income, something he lobbied the state legislature to do.
We want to make sure every kid comes to school and has an opportunity to eat a meal.
The move comes at a time when grocery prices spiked 10% from last year, leaving cash-strapped parents struggling to feed their families.
How important is universal meals to you in terms of your priority list for all students?
It's really important. You know, what we want to do is essentially tell families forever in Washington state, when you come to school, part of going to school is that you have calories.
The federal program that had temporarily expanded free school meals for all public K-12 students nationwide expired in the summer of 2022. The superintendent had proposed state lawmakers make it permanent, but he says due to budget constraints, there's now a scaled-back version of the original legislation making its way through Olympia.
We won't scale it up to 100% of students, right? We're going to go beyond the 70 or 80% who have access today further, but I don't think under the House consideration or the Senate at this point, they're going to make this happen in the next 2 years. They're going to phase it longer.
During the 2021-2022 school year, 46.7% of Washington state students qualified for free and reduced meals, an increase of nearly 4% pre-pandemic.
They're going to try to focus the next phase of expansion for meals to communities with as little as 30% poverty. Right now it's 40%, so they're going to lower that. And they want to focus this, I believe, on early grades.
The superintendent says it's a trade-off.
We've also said to them we need to focus on student mental health, and we need to focus on supporting students with disabilities. And we've got a transportation formula that's not working well.
The bill is still evolving. A lot could change before the legislative session ends on April 23rd. Holly Menino, Como News.
We're continuing to track rain across the state, and tonight it could be heavy, but after midnight the rain clears and will be dry tomorrow. High temperatures will reach the mid-50s, but it will be windy. Then we're talking 59 on Sunday with lots of sunshine and a great day for spending time outside. 57 on Monday, 60 on Tuesday. We'll drop to the low 50s on Wednesday and Thursday. Then we get ready for the next weather maker leading to showers on Friday. Temperatures will be in the 40s as we head into the weekend. Back to you.
Thank you, Jasmine. Put the power of the Weather Authority Storm Center in your hands. Download the free WBFF Weather Authority app for your smartphone. Use our powerful Doppler radar to follow storms to your street. Go to your app store and search WBFF to get started. And there's a big congratulations we want to extend to the Overly High School boys basketball team. Williams sent us the picture of this team celebrating their regional championship win. It's their second in a row, making it the first time in the school's history that they've won the championship back-to-back. They're now set to play in the state quarterfinals this weekend. Best luck to the team. Great job. Well, that's all for us on Fox 45 News at 6 o'clock. Family Feud is next. We'll see you again tonight at 10 o'clock. Thank you, Bernie.